It's apparently the 25th anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which means I'm almost as old as this game, which is kind of crazy to think about, but today we have a brand new UR Dream ticket, and it's the same ticket as the Arc 5 World Celebration ticket. I didn't do a video last time on the ticket. I kind of skipped that because I think that day was when we had all the characters drop, and I thought, you know what, I'll just grind out the characters, get those done. Let's dive into this brand new ticket. Is there anything good in there? Probably. What you should get, what you shouldn't get. Let's dive right in. But before we do, you can actually get a copy of Stargazer Magician and Timegazer Magician, which is really cool because those are currently only event, login rewards for the Arc 5 celebration, which means that hopefully we can get some more of these via the other tickets as well, and then you can have 3 copies of each, even though you probably only really want 2 of each, I think. Let's go to the actual Dream ticket. So let's start off with the X deck, right? And I think there's not really too much in here you need to kind of worry about. Like, Abyss Dweller is a very good choice, right, if you're playing Water Xyz, but even if you're not, it's not a bad card to have for kind of shutting off the graveyard. Things like M7 is always going to be, have a place. Maybe not as much now that Onomats aren't really doing anything, but still a very good generic rank Xyz to kind of go into. Heliopolis, if you're a Blue Eyes player, you might not have this already, and it's a very good card to have. It's a very good option to have, because you can then just like dump the Blue Eyes in the graveyard and then bring them back out with the stones, which works quite nicely. But beyond that, there's not really anything else that I think is that necessary for extra stuff. Like maybe, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark is good for Water Xyz, but I feel like you would have gone to that box anyway to get, some of the stuff, so you probably won't need that. Trish is actually really good for pen summoning because you can fusion face down, right? So that does work in favor of your cards being floodgated, like your entire pen summon being floodgated. You can then bring this out to kind of get around that, which is nice, but it's not really seeing much play. I guess Gig against X, if you're playing the Machine Pendulum Gadget build, that could be kind of fun. Coral Dragon as well is kind of nice for TGs. Genghis makes sense, right? If you're playing DDD, I think you only run 1. So if you use this as your Dream ticket to grab this, and then your SR Dream ticket to go and grab, from an old campaign to grab the gate, the fusion gate, and then you buy 3 structures, you should be pretty good. You probably won't need to go back into the old box because you will now have this aside for the synchro, but that's kind of beside the point. Schuberta is a bit of a weird one because, we know she's used at 3 pretty much in the Melodious deck, but you only really, I feel like, summon her twice in a duel, maybe only once, right? Once you establish your Bloom Diva, that's kind of enough. You have this first if you want to kind of get rid of any graveyard interactions, which is cool. So, given it's a mini box ultra, I don't really feel the best about recommending it, but if you're building Melodious and you want to be free to play, then, being able to skip a mini is great, but given you have to go in already and get 3 first movement solos and 2 or 3 of the fusion monster, then the fusion summoning monster, then, you might as well just go and grab a 3rd one when you're in the box. Beyond that, not really anything else. Like, of course, things like Black Rose are pretty good still in TGs. Vermilion Dragon Neck and Blue Eyes is always a good option. But beyond that, there's not really that much good extra stuff. Like maybe Anki, right? If you're playing heroes and you need a 3rd, like I only have 2. But I feel like 2 is fine. You can get bar 2 ones. 1's not really enough. You want at least 2 because you want to be able to loop that Mask Change effect. But still, it's pretty cool. Moving to the main deck, we have some really interesting cards here like TG Screw Serpent, of course. If you're playing TGs, you want 3 of this, and you only really want 1 or 2 of the big UR. So you don't need to go into the box multiple times. This can save you 1 run of the box. If you have 2 of them, grab a 3rd one. That's a pretty solid shout. Rescue Rabbit, I think in the future is going to be pretty good. Once we get things like Evolzar, Lagia, and Dolker, I think it is, and we get the Dino Rabbit deck kind of going, this will be really good. But right now, it's not really doing much, but if you want to play a deck based around it, then that's still pretty fine. Evil Swarmcaster is another one that, again, could see some more support, right? We know we're getting Pandemic Infestation as a reprint, either in the new main box or the New Year's Day one, so this might be some Evil Swarm support kind of tripling? What am I saying? Coming in here and there, right? What was the word I was trying to say? Trickling in, there we go. here and there in the new box. Even if it does, I don't think it'll be a good option to kind of go for. DD Crow is fine for side decking, right, if you're playing tournaments, but most people probably aren't, so kind of ignore it. Misk for TGs, again, another very good shout. A card that will, over time, get better as we get more dinos. Hopefully, you know, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, soon Copium, whenever the hell they decide to put that in, but still, it's a fun option. Glow Bulb, of course, has a ton of potential to be used in the future. Right now, I think it's being played in Thunder Dragons, Light Swan. If you want to play that kind of, you can play it. It's not a mandatory card to play, but still a cool little option to kind of have. Stratos, there he is. This will probably be my pick of one of my ultra rares because I am missing a third, and I keep kind of going to dig into that Shark Fang box to get it, and I never get it. So I might just pick this up. It's kind of a staple 3 of in Heroes. You want to play 3. 2 is fine, but 3 is just like the golden. You want that consistency. This card gives you it. It's very, very nice. Moving down, we have anything new here that's kind of, I guess, Dragonhawk for Thunder Dragons, of course. A deck that doesn't ever really want to die despite being hit on the ban list God knows how many times. Very, very integral card for the deck right now. And then we have Deep Sea Diva, of course, for Wateric Seas. If you haven't got 3 of this, you kind of want 3 of this. It's very, very good. It's your starter card. It's amazing. White Stone, if you're free to play for Blue Eyes, that's kind of a fun option, but I wouldn't really recommend it right now. Doom Cal, if you want to play your Resonators, right, is a fun option. I don't know how good they are after the skill kind of changes, but it's still a good card for that deck. Having a negate is really cool, but it is a bit of a high risk, right? You can negate your own things if you aren't paying enough attention. And then is there anything else really in here that makes sense to kind of grab? You know, things like Spheakaribo down the bottom right. I wouldn't go for Manju or Senju yet, sorry, because we're getting Necros of Valkyrius, we're getting more Necros support in the brand new main box that might kind of hint as to getting more ritual support, which would be kind of annoying, right, if you went and bought this and they bring out Manju. So Manju is way better. If we get Manju, you don't want to have wasted your card on this. And there is one more. There's one more I'm just remembering that I'm missing, and I kind of skipped it. I think it's because it was in a bit of a weird spot. There you are, Levianair. I just like completely glossed over that. This card is so good and it just refuses to kind of leave the metagame, right? With Thunder Dragons, it's such a good removal card. And you know the thing of this card, right? You want to play 2 at least. Because the way the deck works is that they will summon one of these guys and blow up your back row, and then they'll have another one in hand, because of course they will. So yeah, if you haven't got 2 already, you might want to get a second one. Moving on to these spells. Now this one's pretty easy, right? MST. This is probably the best spell in the game right now. It's used with the hero skill, with the clock tower skill, which means it's very necessary for that deck. It's one of the best forms of removal we have in Duel Links, in the TCG entirely as well, so that's fun. I do not recommend going for Dark Magical Circle, because there's every chance that we might get a structure deck for the 5th anniversary. It's kind of the expected opinion of people in the community. We might get that, so maybe wait on this, because otherwise you'll feel kind of stupid. If you do just want to spend $18 and grab 3 copies, you'll be able to do that. Lance as well, it just got printed in a brand new bundle, so if you can afford the bundle, go for that first. You know, Necro Valley is also another one that, you know, for competitive players, does crop up time and time again. Cosmic Cyclone, never kind of leaving the metagame. It is limited 3. Floodgate is very good against Pendulums, but right now Pendulums aren't doing much aside from DDDs, which I believe can play around this quite well. So that's not that big of an issue for that deck, but still a very good card to kind of have, as well as Floodgate, not Drowning, sorry, as well as Drowning. Again, a staple in your Senju, it's really good. Fiendish, you know, is kind of falling off here and there. I think that we get, you know, things like Breakthrough Skill eventually being reprinted is a little bit better, but this is still pretty cool. Ballista Squad, of course, another very good removal. Regeki Break, a very good removal. And I think that's kind of all, right? Like, if you're playing your Senju, then you already have a copy of the trap card, right? You have this. It's a mini box card. Go and get it in a mini box. Don't waste your ticket. But yeah, that is my overall list of the Dream Ticket. Of course, do not go for anything that's not in boxes, right? Don't go for your Scissor Arms or your Blood Mephist or your Blue Eyes, your Dark Magician. Don't go for that. Go for something that you can actually only get via a box, not a structure deck, and of course, really, just save it, right? Just save it until the very, very end of the campaign when it's up, because then you'll be able to have a more informed decision of what you need to get, right? Unless you do really want to play a deck, you have like, you're so close to the end of it, right? And you need one more card, then do it. But waiting the longest time for, this ticket could last a good while, and then in 3 months' time, a brand new meta arises where a very, very old event, a very, very old card from a box might be super worthwhile. Like Triforge or something it is. That's also in this ticket that I forgot to talk about, but a card that is seeing a ton of play right now in Duel Links. So yeah, let me know down below what you think of the ticket, what you're going to be getting with your ticket if you are, or if you're kind of saving it for a while. That's my recommendation. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.